see who shows up. We'll see what's going. Who's out there at noon? See who's out there at noon. Who's out at noon on a fucking Sunday? Put some music on. Oh, everybody's out. See, everyone's out. Everybody's out there getting on with their day. Gee, I'm just trying to procrastinate. I don't want to work on this fucking book. First publisher fucked me, and the second one is actually, the second one, they're actually communicating with me. It's nice. I can write them an email and hear back from them the next day or the day after, as opposed to the first publisher. That book got delayed till fucking late 2026. I should just bootleg my own book. What do you think of that? I should do that. I'll make the PDF files myself, and then on InDesign, and then I'll send them off to them, and then I'll get like a pallet of fucking 500 copies made, and I'll just start selling those through the mail and the presentations and stuff. But he bootlegged his own book, and then I say, hey, fuck you, come after me, Well, I'm cursing too much. YouTube will censor me. They take it away. Last day of class. Last day as an adjunct professor tomorrow. How's everybody doing? How is everybody doing? I got to get some fucking green tea. Hold on one second. I didn't even check to make sure I don't got any dildos or firearms in the background. You never know. Sometimes they slip through. I didn't put anything incriminating back there. Oh, God. You can have, you want that poster, you can get it. plantgateway.com/poster. My paint job. Okay. If I could do a screen share, I don't think I can. Let me see how I can do this. I don't think it'll let me. Where the fuck? Yeah. Look at this. I'm having to do. Let me see if I can share a screen for a minute. How does this? Yeah. See, look. I'll show you what. Oh, it's not letting me show the. Oh, here. I'll give you a little sneak peek of what I'm working on. Can you see this? Is this coming out? Let me see. YouTube always fucks up. The live stream always fucks up the, I think you can see that. Now I can't see the line. Yeah, see, this is what I'm working on because they dropped the ball. Abrams Press, huh? They already paid the advance. I signed the lowest bottom dollar advance. I didn't have my angry Mick attorney look at the contract before I signed it because I'm a jackass. It was new to me. I figured the lady I spoke to who offered me the book deal, she was so nice. She wouldn't, but I didn't realize it wasn't her that's it's not her that's writing the fucking contract. It's like some shitbag lawyer, and they're all kind of shitbags, except for my friend Carlos. They're all kind of shitbags, and so they offered me like the lowest bottom fucking dollar deal, and now I'm stuck in it. And I think because it was so low, it's such low priority on their. Anyway, let's look at this. Where the fuck did it go? Oh yeah, here. See, Tristrix Affila, and I can just write the fucking text for this right off the top of my head. I've got text written, but this is something I could just do in fucking 5 minutes. What a great parasitic plant. An endophyte only comes out the flower. I got these little insets. What do you think of the insets? Fruits, flowers emerging from the areoles of the plant. And I sent them all this stuff. I sent them the fucking manuscript. I sent them the photos, and they said, no, you have to go redo these. We want you to select everything. I said, I'm gonna include a bunch of photos so that whoever's designing it, has some flexibility. They said no. What's your favorite plant to gift to people? Something they can't kill or torture. Anyway, drop Carlos's info. Why you need an attorney? He's a criminal defense attorney. He's good. So fucking bummed about that. I've got way more photos than is available. I could do like three of these books. Got way more photos than there's room for, than there's available space for in this book. And yet they fuck me. Why? They got the manuscript, they got the photos. They're not doing any of it. They're just sitting on it. I asked them today, I was like, can you just send me have your layout guy, he's French. I said, can you just have him, read through the text? It's like 300 words of text. The fucking species names are all in italics. The file names have the species names as the files have the species names as the file name. And then you just go, you fucking throw it in there, you make it look good. Like you're designing a fucking a brochure for the health insurance company. Speaking of health insurance companies, they're in some hot water. Any plans to visit the Southern Appalachians? Yes, I want to go to Alabama, Northern Alabama. There's some good stuff there. So anyway, I'm going to bootleg my own book. And then I'm going to do a bunch of other books. And it's a fucking nightmare, though. I've been having to learn InDesign, sit there with the laptop. Then I got like another computer over here. I have to look shit up. And I'm just so horrible at sitting still. I can't sit on my ass, I want to go. I got to go take the dogs out for a run. I've gained 10 pounds. I'll be honest. I've gained 10 pounds in the last month, Been doing, all I do is kettlebell swings, and then I pace. I do a lot of pacing. And then, anyway, if you want to join the Patreon, I got all the quite a few lectures up. If you need lectures to fucking you want to learn about plant speciation or plant taxonomy, this isn't urine. It just looks like it. The Damon Tice got me onto the whole making biochar, and then he advocates urinating on it. You make the biochar, fire the shit up, fire up a bunch of small kindling stuff like that big, fire it up, let it burn for a while, and then right before it turns into charcoal, you dump water on it, dump it out, do it again with more stuff. And then you're basically creating like a charcoal type pumice for a soil amendment. Does great in pots. And then he recommends charging it up with urine, like actually peeing on it, letting it soak in because that gives it nitrogen. And I wonder if that works. Yeah, I don't know. We're gonna try. I need some good soil amendments, but you don't want too much drainage where I live because it's so hot. Kyle Leibarger from Native Habitat. Yeah, I met up with him a bunch. He's been on the podcast twice, and I'll be definitely hitting up Kyle. Yeah, I make green tea in a French press, loose leaf green tea in a French press. What the shit? Was up in the Davis Mountains yesterday, Sky Island here in West Texas. Tons of madrones, tons of cool oaks. Quercus, what was it? Quercus rugosa. There's Quercus depressipes up at the top. It's all private land. I realized I need to get like a glue-on mustache and a Trump hat or some shit, just for camouflage when you're in that area. So people I think they just, it's like that Larry David episode where he's walking around with a Trump hat. It's just, it's a great way to infiltrate. They're not going to figure you're a problem. They'll figure you're okay. It's just a great way to blend in, because everyone's so fucking paranoid. Even if you're not on anyone's property, if you're just like lurking along the road looking at plants, they stop and it's wild. The culture of this state, there's things I love about it. And then there's other things that just drive me up the fucking wall. It's just like so depressing. And then the fact that people who grow up here never leave, so they don't know it's different in other places, No, I live in South. I'm all over Texas. But it's funny because if I've been caught on people's land in Mexico before, and then you end up, he wants to make sure you're not illegally hunting or stealing shit. And then you guys end up hanging out for like 2 or 3 hours. And he's like, I can show you where these fossils are. And it's wild, the difference in experience, But anyway, I just, I try to, I try to give everybody the benefit of the doubt. Look, you could see I got the Placus photo in the background. See that? I got the Mojave monkey flower. Some drawings and stuff. How's everybody doing? Yeah, I know. People, if you tell them you're looking for snakes, they seem a little bit softer than if you tell them you're plants. But anyway, you live in Chicago now. How do you like that? At least you can walk around in Chicago. It's nice, but it's fucking cold. Chicago, I mean, every place has its own. I picked that fucking wall color. I like it. I wanted my house to look like a combination taqueria and botany lab. And every place has its own flavor, right? Like some places suck more than others. Every place has its own flavor of turd. Have you ever used the word turd hungry in a sentence? I was talking with Adam Black about that last night. Turd hungry, he was a very turd hungry man, figuratively speaking. Yeah, in Texas for work right now seems like their answer for everything is to add another lane of traffic. That's true. It is. You just spend your life in the car, and then you wonder why, after 40 years of living a sedentary lifestyle, you're coming down with diabetes at age 45 or 50. Johnny from high school. I don't know which one, where. One of my old high school classmates. From where? From which one? Which high school? I got sent to a few. It was a bad kid. It does look very taqueria. I should have a salsa dish, and I think this is fucking great. I like these colors. Should have seen what it looked like before. It was like white with carpet. Very nice old couple lived here before I got this house. And but I was very cognizant of the fact I was breathing in old lady skin cells from the carpet for the first month or two before I ripped it out. Besides, for the plant life, what was your experience in South Africa like? Very fucking disenchanting. It was, there's a lot of crime, understandably, after however many decades where a very small minority of the population owns everything. As you would expect from drastic inequality. From which it's in the process of healing. When did apartheid end? 90, 91? I don't know. Maybe before that. Everything in South Africa is behind razor wire. I talked to some dude who lived he was a Caucasian dude who lived in Johannesburg who ended up moving out to the desert. And he was like, I'd come home from work and basically seal myself in my own prison. And then I got tired of that. And he was like, I was working for a company I hated and I just quit and moved out to the desert and whatever. Yeah, South Africa's fucked up. And there is a lot of racism still. Shit, man, there's a lot of racism in Namibia. I remember talking to a Caucasian lady. She was so nice at first. And then she went on a crazy racist rant in Namibia. This is in Namibia this happened. I was with a friend. We were there because she knew something about plants. I forget what. Anyway, we were there and she went on this fucking. And I was like, I got a pretty thick skin, with kind of shit too. And I was like, hey, Jesus Christ, man, what the fuck? Anyway, yeah, South Africa, but the fucking plant life's amazing. But also a lot of the plants in South Africa I've seen already because they're so common in cultivation. Like a lot of those crassulas, it's cool to see them in habitat, but I had a bias against them because I was so used to seeing them in fucking horticulture in California, like overused, Yep, that fucking European colonization of South Africa got it real fucking weird. Created some really weird situations, really fucking depressing. And then she went on a racist rant. It is a classic follow-up. Yeah, it was nice for a minute. And then he went on some deranged rant that made him seem fucking, 50 years behind the times. Yeah, I don't know. I don't know what she was doing. I think she was German. Who were the fucking colonizers in Namibia? It was the Germans. But Namibia got its independence early on, while South Africa was still all fucked up. And it's crazy that you what was it? The Dutch and English, 7% of the population in South Africa was Anglo. and they owned everything. Like, how you think that's tenable? You think that's gonna last for that long? I was with we met up with some botanist when I was in South Africa. He's a nice guy, but he's he's a Caucasian man, very, very soft spoken. And, automatically people like that, even if I'm not doing it, I'm just being myself, I fucking vibe them out. Within like 5 minutes of meeting me, they're just, slowly inching away. It's too much for them. And this guy met up with us and we had these plans like go out to the Cedarburg and shit. And he came, we went together. He rolled with us in the car. We're like, yeah, we'll pick you up. It was like me, Adam Black, and my friend Woody. and I think I was going on a rant like that. Like, man, this country's fucking weird. How you gonna own everything when you're 7% of the population? Like, you think that's tenable? It's how, like, you're setting yourself up for societal collapse and, people being pissed off or whatever. And the next day he's like, I have to go. He just fucking left. Like, I'm sure he was half inclined to just dip out in the middle of the night. We got some like Fleabag motel, and he was not feeling the vibe. He was not. He was, Anyway, he was very soft spoken though. It is. It's very cognizant of you, Phil. The same thing is true all over the land. Less than 10% of people own 90% of the land. It's those fucking silly primate social structures. Jesus Christ. Oh, I watched the SciShow episode on the chimp war. Holy fuck. My God. We're the only animal that thinks we're not animals. You want to look at how we got so fucked up. Look at our most closely related relatives. Why do we go the way of chimps, not bonobos? I'm not doing this again. I get into this all the time. My fucking disappointment with with the human condition. No, this isn't a piss jar. This is just green tea. Now get used to it. Quit clutching your pearls, you fucking snowflakes, huh? Huh? You should make some loose leaf green tea before you get colon cancer, asshole. I get the gunpowder, I get the loose leaf, I get a French press. You mix it with some of that. I got this shit when I was in Chinatown in Oakland. It was so funny. We were there. I was there with my friend Pete, and no one. They're all speaking Mandarin. They don't speak any English. And so I'm sitting there with the translator, and this dude who's this Chinese guy just starts, talking to us, and suddenly we realize he's speaking Spanish. He's like fluent in Spanish. He moved to Honduras when he was 3 or something from China, and completely fluent in Spanish. So we ended up hanging out and talking with him for what it was funny as hell. We're like, what the fuck? You speak Spanish? But I got all these. I got like a big bag of reishi and a fucking giant like $30 bag of loose leaf green tea. The good shit. Oh, it was so good. Is it cold as hell? Oh, green pu'er cake. That's nice. Yeah. Misty Mountain green pu'er cake. Is it a Misty Mountain? Yeah, you can't drink green tea first thing in the morning. It'll make me puke too. I was puking last weekend. I think I drank too much Dayquil. I was, my daughter got me sick. She had RSV, and I thought I wasn't going to. She was like coughing right in my fucking mouth. And, and I was like, baby, you got to cover your mouth. You got to stop doing this, please. And she, of course, she'd always forget. She's 4. So she coughed in my mouth. I got RSV, and I could feel it coming on. I was like, I'll probably beat it. It's fine. I was drinking a shit ton of water and making reishi tea. And I just didn't slow down at all. I was still digging holes and planting shit in the rain. And the next day, within like 3 days, I was fucking wiped out and just had no energy. And then I drank Dayquil just so I could fucking sleep. I don't touch that stuff. I don't believe it because it just masks the symptoms. Just so I could sleep. And I think I drank too much. And then I had like a melatonin gummy or something too. And like I woke up at 3 a.m. and just fucking barfed. It's just like let it all out, just puked. Everywhere, and the next day just couldn't get up because anytime you puke, you just get fatigued the next day. So anyway, any info for growing native seeds? Yeah, which ones? You just So it depends where you're from. If you're from a really cold place, I would cold stratify them in a bag or just sell them outside in a place where that's protected via with hardware cloth or something from rodents and critters, and just let them come up in the spring. Or you could put them outside for a month in pots. I like those flower pots. I get these big flower pots now because I like more volumes of soil because they don't dry out as quick. And I'll put a soil mix in, and you can just separate stuff later. You know, total body cleanse. Time for a total body cleanse. We're at the colon clinic. We're going to start a colon clinic here in West Texas. A colonic, herbal colonic. How to deal with cats pooping in seed beds, feral or owned. You know, it's big difference. You don't want to hear how I recommend dealing with feral. If they're friendly, they can be adopted. It's different. You can find homes for them. Try to, but if they're feral, it's a different story. Oh, coffee douche. Yeah, I don't know how that works. Happy to create the layout and design. Man, if you're serious, Timothy, email me and we can talk. I can't pay you anything, but we can work something out. What I did for the publisher was there's text, and then I sent them a shit ton of photos, and they want me to pick the exact ones. I said I can't pick the exact ones unless I'm doing the layout myself, which you guys don't want to pay me for because I need fluidity. You know, I'll pick 10 when I'm designing shit in InDesign. I'll pick 10 photos, throw them on the workspace, and then end up deleting half of them and working with them. And you know, it just they didn't want to do that. They want instructions, and I was like, you're basically asking me to do the layout for you, but you don't want to pay me. I'm not going to do that. If I'm going to do that, I'm going to fucking, you know, I'm going to be the one. I'll do the layout myself, and then I'll bootleg, you know, 1,000 copies that I can sell. They're only giving me 20 copies of my own book. I could have negotiated that too. 20 copies. Fuck them. You know, but the nice thing with a big publisher is you can, you know, tell your friends to go steal it. Just kidding. I'm just kidding. You know, or you order it on Scamazon and say it got damaged, right? Stealing from Jeff Bezos. Yeah, span release doesn't work. Okay. Yeah. Oh man, that'd be amazing. If I could, Timothy, I'll send you some. I'll send you time to stick the zine. What the fuck are you talking about? No, I'm not like 19. I'll send you some examples. Okay. I'll I'll send you like a folder of photos, and you could just try like a 2-page thing, and I'll send you an example of like what I'm looking for. Really heavy on insets, like a landscape photo with like an inset photo, like the up close of the flower morphology, etc. The book dimensions are supposed to be like 7x9. Something like that. Any tips on quitting booze? Yeah, don't do it all alone. Listen, go to a fucking meeting and listen to thank you, Timothy. And listen to what is it, Bob D? Who's a YouTube? There's a YouTube guy, Bob D. AA. Look, type in Bob D AA on YouTube. He's fucking great. Really great guy. Gets a little he gets a little bit of dad humor sometimes, but it's, you know, it's good shit. It's I still listen to those once in a while. Start smoking weed. Nah, that's not. It's only marginally better. I'll probably piss people off by saying this, but weed really fucking gums up the gears of the mind. It's once in a while, but like when you just become dependent on it, you know, you got to feel your feelings, old boy. You got to feel what is bothering you. Deal with shit, write it down. You know, you got to get accustomed to feeling discomfort and rolling with it. And then also just realizing, you know, everyone's kind of full of shit, so you don't need to be so hard on yourself. You need to learn self-love. That's what it is. Self-love, not confidence. One of Bob D's things that he says, you didn't know it was going to go this way, did you? I'm going to be doing self-help. Is that one of the things Bob D says, that ego is the opposite of self-love. It's like a compensation for self-love. It's not true self-love, you know? You learn self-love, then you learn compassion for other people, and, you know? But anyway, yeah, but fuck booze, man. I can't. Booze is such a waste of time. I can't fucking stand to be around it anymore, you know? And I'll still drink NA IPAs once in a while because I like that hoppy smell and that hoppy taste. But Jesus Christ, alcohol is just, it makes people so obnoxious. It makes them say stupid shit and think it's great. And if you need alcohol to feel comfortable around other people, that's like red flag number one. That means like you just got to do some work on that. Like you shouldn't need alcohol to feel comfortable around, you know, your fellow primates. It's like, you know, you got to learn how to be yourself without that, you know? So, psychedelics might help too a little bit, but in a mediated setting. I've been sober off booze for 8.5 years. I don't really do anything, man. I'll do pot once in a while, but it's too weird. You know what? They got these things in Texas, these 5 milligram THC drinks that are illegal because it's below 0.3% of the volume. It's called Texas tonic or something. I don't know. And they're nice, but you know, you like a tall can. I can do like half a tall can, so it's like 2.5 milligrams of THC, and that's enough. And even then, it gets weird, and I start, you know, weed really does affect your memory and other things. I called Al Scorch the other day, and we were talking about something. Then I could tell within like 5 minutes he was high, and I was like, hey, why don't we just talk when you're not high anymore? He's like, oh yeah, no, okay, all right, sure. It was like, you know, you could tell. Yeah, nobody can afford therapy, man. It's fucking the United States, you know. There's no fucking healthcare. Again, it comes to the healthcare. I am not commenting on anything about events that transpired last week, except I will say that he looked like a handsome man, and I'm not talking about the guy that got whacked. He did, wherever he is. I was just blown away, you know. He's a handsome guy. To be honest, I got no problem saying he was a very handsome man. Wife being without alcohol. Oh, wife beating without alcohol is like a circus without lions. Jesus Christ. Yeah. Yeah, it's terrible. Yeah, fuck booze, man. God. But I'm coming this as someone who I mean, I definitely had fun when I was drinking. But then after a while it wasn't fun anymore. You know, I'm talking about fun, like putting a toilet on the hood of your, 1996 Honda Civic and, ramping it up to like 60 miles per hour on a dark industrial street on the weekends, abandoned industrial street, slamming on the brakes, watching the toilet go flying, and then, driving a few blocks back to your house. Actually, my friend I wasn't driving. I actually never drove drunk. I was really good about that because I had a locomotive license. But we were both definitely intoxicated, that was fun. We launched that toilet went far. It was, there's nothing like seeing a toilet just cruising through the air. Anyway, firearms while intoxicated, that was kind of fun too, don't recommend it. It's terrible. It's a terrible, it's just stupid shit, and I made it through that and it was fun. And then I'm just done. But, I think for people who've never gotten it in like that, it's definitely, maybe it's harder to get sober if you've not done enough stupid shit, stealing golf carts, hammered. Any interest in space botany farming? No, I don't think you mean like in a greenhouse on Mars or the moon. No, not necessarily. I don't think so. Oh God. There's a video coming out later today. Taking volunteers for the sanctuary for Thorn Scrub. Have not even been there, but I'm hopefully going to be going there next week. And there's not even a spot to park, so we've got to clear like a half acre. And then, of course, since there's stuff there, we need to see if there's anything that's salvageable that can just be moved before we clear it. We have to rent the masticator because one of the roads is completely overgrown with blackbrush. Couldn't believe the comments under your latest crime page. Which one? The Martin one? Yeah, I don't know. I think it's normally the comments are just people complaining about the ads, but those ads are what help me get paid. Then there was one comment by someone who just seemed like they didn't even listen to the podcast. They were upset, but that's okay. All right. Apparently you didn't listen. Anyway, probably, Caucasian college students. No offense to, anyway, you know what I mean. You think Kratom is a competitor to Suboxone? I was taking Kratom occasionally, but at low doses, because at low doses it's a stimulant. And then, I would take it when I was running a lot, and it was great. But then, like with everything, I was like, ugh, and I can't even taste the shit anymore. Come to Oak Lawn. I've been to Oklahoma before. Why do you think it's good to put profanity on shirts? Why don't you, Carl? Why don't you? I didn't put the profanity. I just bought the shirt. Why are you watching this channel if you're offended by profanity? I'm not going to like a fucking playground with this shirt on. I'm walking around my house. What are you gonna police what I do in my own house? You gonna police what I do in my own property, Carl? Come on, man. God damn. What's the name of the color green on your walls? I don't know. It looks like some sort of exorcist bile. Yeah, I don't know. I mean, all that shit, kratom, suboxone, try to get free of all of it. But see, now you got the taste, so it's kind of hard. But again, that's why I think really the program is good, because you deal with all your shit. You know, you really got to deal with it. You got to deal with the booze and all the other shit. The more you learn about yourself, and you don't know this while you're in it, is that the booze and all that other shit is a result of things you have not dealt with within yourself. You've only scratched the surface of all the shit that's going on in your subconscious psychological habits, your feelings. You know, have you been to the Train Museum in Old Sacramento? Yes, I have. And my friend Paul told me that when he died, he wanted to get his body plasticized and put in the hobo diorama. He's 75. He's 72. I don't know, something like that. One of the healthiest people I know. I planted a crepe myrtle in an empty spot in a shitty shopping center. Yeah, where? I mean, it'll be easy to forgive you if it stands a higher likelihood of dying, which, crepe myrtles, you're planting them west of the 100th meridian. They're not going to survive that well. They need a lot of moisture. I'm writing this book right now about invasion biology. Does everybody get the idea that invasive species mostly come from other continents? Can anyone think of any case where they don't? I'm not talking about like Coniza canadensis or fucking Robinia. Like those are like, they come up, Coniza comes up in like construction fields and then kind of disappears. And it's native to Canada anyway. It's native to the whole region. But does everybody get this idea that like an ecosystem is kind of its own fucking kind of synonymous with a continent, right? Because what's the biggest barrier? If you're a genus, maybe a certain species in a genus might be restricted to a certain area of the continent, like a swampy area or a desert. But the whole genus is going to be all over the continent. And speciating in different niches, alpine areas, fucking deserts, coniferous woodlands, oak woodlands, swamp, whatever. But the genus is rarely going to make it outside the continent because of those big fucking oceans that act like walls. Does everybody get that? Because I get this. It always drives me nuts when people, like in Texas, call mesquite invasive, or they call cedar, which is just juniper. There's no true cedars native in North America. They call cedar invasive. It's not invasive. It's just aggressive. It's not a completely different thing. It's the wrong usage of the term, right? It's an invasive species. And the reason that a lot of natives can be very aggressive is because of things like fire suppression or overgrazing, etc. Yes, kudzu lives sustainably and is kept in check in Japan because what are the things that keep plants in check most? Insects and fungi. And kudzu has a wealth of pathogenic insects and fungi that keep it in check in Japan. Now, should you bring those here? No, because kudzu's relatives, other plants in the pea family, those insects would likely go for as well. But the curious case of prickly pear in Australia. Now, prickly pear Australia has been separated from the rest of the fucking world for 50 million years, at least. So there's a lot of stuff in Australia that has no close relatives. Let me turn this fucking. Actually, you know what? I'm gonna keep the music on. A lot of stuff in Australia has no close relatives anywhere else in the world. And the cactus family, of course, is entirely endemic to the Americas, except for one species, Rhipsalis basifera, which is an epiphyte that made it to the African continent at some point in the last few million years. But prickly pear was brought over to Australia so people could harvest the cochineal scale. That stuff looks like white teepee, like shitty teepee that someone threw on like a prickly pear pad. It's just like this white fluff, but it's actually an insect. And if you grab it and crunch it between your fingers, it turns a bright red, yielding this dye, which, like the Zapotecs and other indigenous groups in Mexico have been using for fiber dyeing for fucking centuries. So it was brought over to Australia in the late 1700s. By the late 1800s, it had taken over and formed monocultures because nothing there kept it in check. And so what did the Australian government do? They sent people, if you're looking for the checks and balances of an invasive species, you go look in where it evolved. All right, because it'll have checks and balances there, because nature doesn't like any overabundance. It doesn't like monocultures unless it's like an extreme environment. Extreme environments like a desert, you'll get a monoculture of creosote, or high alpine environment, maybe you get a monoculture of some other native. But so they sent someone over to look at what kept prickly pear in check in the Americas. They found this cactoblastis moth. They brought that over to Australia because cacti had no close relatives in Australia, right? You're looking at family, looking at order. Is there anything? The closest relative to the cactus family is Anacampserotaceae, which is primarily in Africa. And so they brought this. There was nothing over there. There was no harm that was going to be done. And so this moth ended up keeping prickly pear in check. It didn't wipe it out. It's still there. It's still invasive in some areas, but these huge woodlands, that eucalyptus woodlands that had the entire understory dominated in prickly pear, were suddenly, 90% of it was gone. This moth, this biocontrol worked, right? But you can't do that with everything, because a lot of stuff, like the grass family, will have congeners or, genera that would be affected too by the same pathogens. But with cacti, it worked because there were no close relatives to cacti in Australia. So, evolution, biogeography, millions of years spent together. You got to consider all this shit when you're looking at invasive species and why something like I just put a presentation on the Patreon. Chestnut blight. Why is it so devastating to American chestnut trees? Because American chestnut trees and Chinese chestnut trees, which chestnut blight evolved with, last diverged from a common ancestor. It's estimated like 10 million years ago. So Chinese chestnuts had 10 million fucking years to evolve, probably in a series of baby steps in an evolutionary arms race with chestnut blight. The blight would attack the chestnut trees in China. They'd evolved some defenses. Now it's on the fungus. Now it's the fungus's move. The fungus has to evolve better enzymes to better decompose the living tissue of chestnut trees. And so that makes another step. And then now the Chinese chestnuts have to evolve another defense, and so on. And after 10 million years, you've got a highly pathogenic fungus and a highly resistant tree. But when you take that highly pathogenic fungus across an ocean to an ecosystem that it's been separated from for millions of years, suddenly the American chestnut is just overnight, just way too pathogenic, kills everything, which is not beneficial if you're a pathogen. You don't want to kill everything, right? You want to knock out too many of your hosts. No virus wants to kill all of its hosts, right? You want to leave some standing. And so that's anyway, but that's why it took out everything. But I think Cryphonectria parasitica, chestnut blight, can live on oaks too on the East Coast. But good. So anyway, yeah, what's phylloxera on grapevines? I assume that's a similar case. So it's always the fucking continent. So you view the continent as kind of its own ecosystem, right? That's why you like native. You can't call native species invasive, and you can't call humans invasive. It's just the wrong usage of the term, right? Humans weren't brought by anything, right? Invasive in the field of ecology means brought by humans. I mean, did humans bring them? I guess you could say that. It's fucking semantics, but that's not invasive. That's the other thing is whenever I hear people say humans are invasive, it's always someone who doesn't like the fact that a plant or an animal that they like is being called invasive. So they deflect with this shit for brain argument. Humans are invasive. Not to mention the fact that humans have free will and choice for the most part. Some people I wonder about, but humans have choice. There's the reason our culture is so fucked is because there's a void of leadership at the top, and there's no one setting an example, and everything is just geared by primate hoarding complexes, obsolete primate hoarding complexes, greed, and etc. But still there's a choice. So yeah, humans are invasive argument. It's so fucking annoying. God, you could call them a cancer. You can call them whatever you want. You go ahead, but it's not. You're just not using the fucking word invasive correctly, right? You sound like an idiot. No offense to anybody that's yeah, Joshua trees are toast. These solar companies, yeah, man, that's fucked. I saw something on putting solar farms on animal agriculture fields, like for sheep and shit like that, because they can use the shade. But the idea, I mean, it's fucking insane. The idea that what the BLM is doing, just whoring out public land to solar companies, is insane. It's disgusting. Wild Trees by Richard Preston. Yeah, I read that probably a decade ago or more. Yeah, humans are great dispersers. I guess you could call them that. They're great extinction instigators. Invasive species are a huge cause of extinctions and reduced diversity. That's the thing about when I get and it's always the permaculture people. No offense, I give too much shit to the permaculture people. I like permaculture. I'm not talking. It's one of those cases where like the permaculture as a form of agriculture is fucking great. I love the ideas, but it's just all this other shit that comes with the package. These goofy ideals like invasion biology that I just can't stand. And it's always then some fucking rant. It's like, when you look at someone's ideology, like you're clearly not thinking about this. You're clearly just getting this shit from some shit you read. You haven't actually taken any of this in and sat there and pondered it and thought about it on your own. You're just kind of repeating talking points, which everyone does now because it's, no matter what political side of the spectrum on, because it's fucking social media. Yeah, I got these neck issues, I got to get rubbed around and slapped, Sure, a lot of people agree with that anyway for different reasons, but Jesus Christ. Oh, God. What's your favorite website for looking up phylogenetic trees? I just type in Google or Google Scholar the name of the family or genus I'm interested in, followed by phylogeny, and you'll normally get a nice cladogram. Yeah, permaculture lovers seem to not think invasive species are a thing. It's true. And the thing I like about permaculture is maybe it gets somebody in the door, right? Like the drug bros or the entheogen people, it gets them in the door of learning about the larger ecosystem as a whole. But, that's the thing is like you want to like the idea is to get people thinking about the whole fucking field, not just that little thing. When I got interested in this, I was just interested in growing big fucking trees because I wanted to see, the sidewalks get destroyed. And I like the idea that you could grow redwood from these tiny things. And I had no concept of, nativity or why it matters or like why it's pointless to try and grow dawn redwoods in fucking Oakland without irrigation, right? Like there was no sense of climate. And then over time, I realized, native matters because these things have literally been fucking sculpted by the surrounding environment, the surrounding herbivores and the surrounding pathogens and the surrounding fucking insects and pollinators and all this shit. And I started paying attention to insects because I was like, these things are pollinating, they're interacting with this plant. Holy shit, there's a whole other field directly connected. And not only that, but it's directly influenced the evolution of this plant I'm interested in. And holy fuck, that's cool. But initially I had no interest at all. Okay, let's read some of these comments. Yeah, I'll look at for phylogenies, like for taxonomy, INAT is great. INAT can be great. I was talking with a friend yesterday about iNaturals because he's always shitting on it, and I said, why? How could you have a problem with this? This is a great site for sharing knowledge, for keeping records of what you see. And then later on, I learned it was his problem wasn't with the site itself; it was with the way people use it, and like these iNaturalist identifiers who just are like ass permanently glued to a seat, constantly online, on there, just constantly identifying, and they're not even specialists in the field, like on the genus or the species or the family that they're identifying on. They just want to have identifications under their belt. It's like and I was like, that's just human behavior. Your beef is with human behavior. Like, yeah, those people are shitheads, but that's not iNaturalist. Not everyone is like that. Like there are some really well-known scientists who are contributing stuff to INAT and filtering through all these observations, like John Redman in Baja. He's going through it. He's on it all the time, like correcting stuff and helping people learn, like they're performing a service. It's a great thing. Like your beef is not with the platform, it's with certain people, which is generally young males. It's like, I got 30 INET activation. I got 150,000 INET identifications. I've gone on there, I've identified, and then you look at where they are at, where they've been to, and it's like, you have no fucking field experience. You've just been on INET, like a fucking know-it-all. What are you doing? Go to fuck out in the field. That's cool. You're autistic and you can read. That's great. Me too. What the fuck? Actually, I don't know if I'm formally autistic or not, but I probably got something fucking wrong with me. But go get field experience. Go eat some shit, right? Go almost kill yourself falling off a cliff looking at plants. Sniff on the ecosystem. Try to put things together while you're out there and look what's connected to what. Notice how things are behaving, right? Anyway. Auckland, New Zealand. What's going on over there? They got a nice museum there. Yeah, INET is a godsend. I use it for myself. If there was a way I could block people from seeing anything except the photos I put up or something, I would do it. I just I need it for myself. I need the records. I forget shit all the time. Again, permaculture is cool. A lot of the principles behind it. It's just as the whole subculture comes, it tends to come with a lot of goofy shit. Not to mention white people in dreadlocks. No offense. Okay, let's keep going. Let's see. I got to piss soon. Maybe I could just piss in a bottle. Culture recording every second for. I don't know. I don't get that. Nature is one big interconnected net. That's right. Does INET identify rashes? Ooh, you got a rash? What are you doing? Huh? How'd you get a rash? Is it autoimmune or syphilitic? That's what I always ask myself. Is this an autoimmune rash or is this syphilis? San Antonio area is a land. Yeah, all of Texas is. How do I keep it from bumming me out? Because it's a blink. You read about the geologic timescale. I have a burning hatred for it that is in part of my blood. I have a burning hatred for constant land clearance. And there's so much of it in Texas. And the whole fucking disease, I see the whole society, as tainted with a disease. Whereas anything that doesn't directly benefit people is garbage and can get, the idea that people are just allowed to go fucking wreck and clear land to put up some of the dumbest shit. Like the shit they put up it's horrible enough on its own. Like even if they were clearing like a fucking McDonald's parking lot to put this shit up, I would still be looking at this stuff and just repulsed. Like you've created the ugliest landscape in the first world by far. I've traveled everywhere. Nowhere is as depressing as the American retail landscape of billboards for personal injury attorneys, car dealerships, 12-lane roads, just fucking, and the only green thing are like some shitty non-native trees interspersed every 50 feet and then the mowed turf grass. It's just a fucking miserable place to live. Right? No offense. I know that's probably like 90% of us live in places like that, but it kills me. You have no connection to land. Like we for 2 million years, we evolved as a species with connections to living things around us, and now it's just garbage. It's fucking garbage based on primate hoarding complexes with nothing else. It's so I don't think anyone who's not from the US knows how fucking soul crushing it is. It's so bleak. Like, how is that any different from places I've been in the quote third world where it's slums and wrecked? It's like the same. It's the same. Well, it's different, but it's just as depressing to be in. But people love it here. I don't get it. They fucking love it. They're like, this is great. I could drive everywhere. I could just sit in my car for an hour and a half, and don't you want to get out? Like, it's not good to be hunched out. It's fucking, cars are great for long distance travel. Is it part of day-to-day life? It's fucking miserable, man. It's a horrible way to be. Just suck it on the tailpipe with a knob in front of you and just, want to be out. I want to be moving. I don't want to be, and just, you could feel it. It's horrible for your back. It's, you're not getting any physical activity, no burning of calories just by, oh God. Yeah, some states don't allow billboards like 2. It's not enough. I wish it was like 35. You can really see it. You can really see when you go to a spot and every billboard is for a fucking ambulance chaser. It's they're really the cultural flavor. Yeah, so I have a hatred for it, and I mention it all the time to the point that I annoy people. I mean, I don't give a fuck. I just keep doing it. And I also know it's going to get annihilated one. It's going to get annihilated one day. None of this shit's sustainable. None of this fucking garbage is sustainable. And people are miserable in it. Self-medicated with booze and fucking psychotropic drugs and whatever, fuck. Oakland put you out of business. Yeah, Oakland's kind of a shithole, right? I was just there right now. Yeah, anyway. Enter the peyote what? The peyote space for what? Legal hurdles for someone trying to enter the peyote. What peyote space? I don't know. Move to Canada? What's up? There's all kinds of cool cacti, not just peyote. Just did 9 miles in Chicago. What, running or what? Theanine. Okay, I'm losing this. Hold on, wait. Pacific Northwest. I haven't been in the Pacific Northwest in 5 years, maybe. I don't know. Oh, jogging. Yeah, nice. It's nice. My fucking knees are starting to really get messed up, so I don't fucking jog too much anymore. Wish I could get back into biking. Michael Pollan, I don't know. He's a white guy from Berkeley. He's, I'm traumatized by well-to-do Caucasians from Berkeley. Yeah, thoughts on Michael Pollan on that psychedelic book? Yeah, it was all right. Beach leaf disease? No, probably invasive. Where is beach leaf disease from? Is it invasive, like from the other continent? That's the thing too. Is this thing with the fucking invasion biology people is when they say invasive species aren't a problem. Everything's native somewhere. What are you gonna do? You gonna go back to the mythical point in time? No, it's not about a mythical point in time. It's about ecological function. You fucking nitwit, which you wouldn't pay any attention because all you want to learn to do is grow carrots in organic worm compost. Which is, it's great, but there's a whole other fucking field out there. What was I talking about? What was I talking about? Oh, God. There's that phlegm. Oh, yeah. When you think about the fact that every pathogen afflicting North American forests, except for pine beetles, didn't exist on this continent anywhere until like 200 years ago, and oftentimes not even 100 years ago, you start to really realize invasion biology is a thing. And it's because the whole ecosystem has been separated from that of North America. The ecosystem where these things came from has been separated from that of North America for millions of years. How could they not be invasive? I'm surprised there's not more invasives. I'm surprised, not every non-native is invasive, but every invasive is a non-native. I'm surprised there's not more invasive species, man. Anyway. Yeah, it was a good one. It was a good, deep, guttural expulsion of mucus. Opinions on native vars. It's taking an antiquated look on horticulture and trying to put it into native plants. I have no interest in native vars. I guess they're good for people that don't get the native thing yet. But again, the whole idea of what makes a plant pretty is fucking deranged because it's all rooted in this weird European shit. It's like plants are supposed to be pretty and flowering all the time. You know how many people don't even know that like a flower is a reproductive structure that ends up producing a fruit, and that a fruit is not just like a tomato or a strawberry, but can be a dried dehiscent capsule or a single seed. Like our whole the way that society views plants in general is just so fucked. They're supposed to be pretty. Like you go to the Home Depot garden section, no places will illustrate it for you more. How just deranged and perverted the idea of plant life is. And then you look at someone with a native plant garden and someone at City Hall, who's wearing like 5 layers of makeup and more Botox than a fucking spoiled tin can, is calling that yard weedy. Like in a suit, it's just a weedy yard. It's not pretty. It's messy. It's messy. Where the fuck where have you spent time? You go outside. Have you ever spent time in nature? Do you know what nature is? I don't even like the word nature, but like, do you go like weedy, like messy? What the fuck do you want? What plants are you used to? Like the landscape setting in Minecraft? Like, where do you get this shit? It's messy. And then you go to and then the Home Depot garden section, it's like the tackiest shit. Like just fucking garbage. Shit that doesn't even exist in nature. It's not even invasive because it doesn't exist anywhere. Or it's not even non-native because it doesn't even exist anywhere. Like it's been bred in a greenhouse. It's literally been bred and selected over the last however many decades in a greenhouse to produce showy flowers that don't produce any nectar or to be sterile or whatever. I gotta piss. You know, I gotta go soon. Weedy, yeah, that's so God. Just like, where do you? I guess why it's frustrating for me is because like, where do you start? Like this motherfucker's so brainwashed and indoctrinated in what is supposed to be horticulture, or just in these like deranged. You're just first off, don't react the way I'm reacting. If you're interacting with these people, be calm and polite. But like, they're so indoctrinated in these garbage ideas about what a plant is supposed to be. Like, where do you start? You're like, it's not. What are your fucking? How do you gauge beauty? Like, I gauge beauty by spending time in actual native wild places and seeing all these different things interacting. Like, how do you think that this is? You think plants are just supposed to flower all the time? Do you realize there's like a down season, like right now, if you're on the East Coast? You know, of course they do. I mean, it's the root of everything is this disconnection because of our technology and also because of the civilization that's the roots of the civilization that's now in charge of everything. You know, we got to make some tweaks. We got to make some tweaks because of this technology and this disconnection. Because of the technology, we've allowed ourselves to be disconnected from what's real. And so we live in these worlds where we think the landscaping is supposed to look like fucking Minecraft, this video game landscaping, you know, uniform lines, evenly spaced. I could go on. Honestly, you don't want to hear me. Just, yeah, he's getting so mad. He's cursing too much. But I see that, God, so much landscaping I see is just, it's like visually abusive to me. It's like, wow. I just want to puke. And what the fuck is with the even spacing? Why? Why do you do that? When we were doing Kill Your Lawn, one of the landscapers wanted these motherfucking landscapers. God, wish I could have filtered some of them out. Anyway, one of them was doing that. It was just had a real hard on for planting in the fucking, again, the video game landscape. That's what it looks like. It looks like the fucking landscaping you'd see on like an N64 in the night, like where the graphics aren't too good yet. We're talking video games like 20 years ago. The graphics aren't that great, but you can tell what, it's supposed to be a plant. And they're just evenly spaced in a uniform line. Why are you doing that? Why? If this is an orchard, I get it. It makes sense. You got to get in there. You got to fucking, pick the strawberries, harvest the pecans. Why are you doing that? Why are you putting it in a fucking line? Why? This isn't an orchard. This is someone's like front yard, or it's like in front of a bank. Like, why are you doing this? Like, fucking stop it. It's like no one sees. I see that, and I just, God, I want to vomit or vandalize stuff. If you're under the age of 18, you can still get away with vandalism. I think somebody's go dig up some lawn somewhere at night. Just get it out, because after you cross that age threshold, they can really prosecute you, and it's harder to get some of these misdemeanors expunged the older you get. But if you're 16 or 15, you can go cut down a Bradford pear in a public park, or they wouldn't put them in a public, maybe they would put it in a public park, or like outside of a bank or a strip mall. Like, go, they got these electric chainsaws now. They're fucking great. If you're like a rich kid, ask your dad to buy you an electric chainsaw for Christmas. If he wants to know what it's for, just tell him you're going to get into, chainsaw bears or something. And just start sneaking out at night and cutting down Bradford pears and crepe myrtles. I think it's a great idea. Or vandalizing lawns in places, unless it's for a spot for because the dogs do need a place to shit. And if you like it, if you're into the sports ball and stuff, you want to kick a soccer ball around, you need a lawn for that. I support lawns in that case. They have a pragmatic purpose. I'm not saying they don't. It's fucking 70s, no, 60s jazz. Some of the 60s New York jazz. The Three Sounds is fucking great too. Some of that stuff, I said, wow, some of that stuff's pretty good. What many weeds taking over my yard? All right, Erica, why don't you go inventory and survey those weeds and find out what species they are? Some will be some cool natives, some will be invasive. I like that. I like seeing what plants are taking over the anthrophilic landscapes. Is that the right word? Anthropic landscapes, right? Sometimes it's a mixture of natives and invasives in most places. Where I live in South Texas, it's a lot of it's more natives, which is actually cool. They're just very aggressive, quote unquote, weeds. And then you start looking at, well, why is this plant doing so well? Either it produces a shit ton of seeds, it's an annual, it grows fast, produces a shit ton of seeds, has a short, lifespan, short generational turnover, or it's really good at disturbance. Most of the weeds are really good at taking disturbance. They can get fucking weed whacked. Some of them probably already have herbicide tolerance. They can be mowed. I love it when you go to someone's yard and it's lawn, and they don't even realize it yet, but there's like 8 different species growing there. We get a plant called Malpighia glabra, which is Barbados cherry, which is the common name. And it's a shrub that gets like 3 or 4 feet tall. I saw a lawn that was composed entirely of it the other day. That actually was a hell strip. It was between the sidewalk and the road. This is a shrub that just had germinated. A bird had shit the seed out, it germinated, and it had just formed this mat. And it could take the mowing. So it was like being perpetually bonsai. This is a plant that grows to like 4 or 5 feet tall in most circumstances. I think it's edible too. But it was just kept perpetually bonsaied, 2 inches tall, and it had taken over this whole area. It was like a lawn of Barbados cherry. It was pretty cool. And the person mowing it didn't even know, So bonsai trees grow for aesthetic. They have a place, I get it. It's like a vibrator or something, right? There's a place, if you have a vibrator, and if you're like lady has a vibrator, you put it in a drawer next to the bed. It's a place. It's got a place. You're not going to bring it to work with you, right? Like with a bonsai tree. Same thing. There's a place. There's a place for you. You don't need to take it with you. You don't need to. Doesn't need to be. Don't go crazy with it. But the main thing with bonsai that I always worry about is because there's no root space. They dry out really quickly, and so that's why when you go to like a bonsai, remember Chicago Botanic Garden, which I did get thrown out of once, a long time ago. It was before Crime Pays. They had a bonsai exhibit, and I remember they had the misters on everything because there's no root. There's like no root space. So the smaller volume of soil, the faster it's going to dry out, and so that's the only thing about it. I don't know. They're cool. I like it. I like being able to see some of these junipers that have presumably been poached, from the Krumholtz mountaintops that they were growing on. But how'd you get thrown out? I was pissing. In the bushes. That's what, seriously. This was like 2009 or 10. I think it was 2008 maybe. No, it was 2009. Yeah. Yeah, man, it was 2009. Fucking stash. Come on. That's a good way I judge people too. If I'm at a plant person's house and I have to take a leak, I say, can I just piss in the bushes over here? And if they say, we have a bathroom too, I'm taking it back. I'm like, oh, you got a bath. I presume you have a fucking bathroom. I'd be amazed if you didn't have a bathroom. If you live in a house that doesn't have a bathroom, you don't encounter that in the first world too often these days. Unless it's like a squat. We don't have a working toilet. You got to piss in a bucket. I presume you have a bathroom, but I'm asking, can I urinate in the bushes? Because it's going to get nitrogen. And also I like peeing outside. I don't want to go in your bathroom. I don't want to see like your personal, all your shit. I don't need to see that stuff. I don't need to see your fucking, skincare products and stuff. I just want to take a leak. I'm not trying to like inspect your house, And if they say no, well, then there better be a good reason for it, The neighbors are stiff. He'll call you something like that. But anyway. Oh God, I gotta get to writing. Wait, whose fence did I piss on? I can't remember. I'm telling you, man, Damon Ty and this you follow Damon Ty on Instagram? Damon Ty and his biochar thing and pissing on plants. He's been pissing on all his trichos. He's really for it, you know. He's got a solar cooker too. He inoculates all his fucking food scraps with oyster mushrooms and then eats the oyster. You know, he's really going far. He's a permaculturalist, but doesn't refer to himself as that. That's what I like. You know, definitely believes in invasion biology, teaches DNA extraction and science. Forget the company he works for. Great fucking guy. His stories are always so fun. His Instagram stories, learn so much. And I'm doing with the cactus seed. See? This is just drying cactus fruits. This is West Texas Hamato cactus. I got to give it like another day of drying because the pectin in here is still kind of squishy. And then I'm going to scrape all these off and grow more. Shout out to Spooner Marcus and his little glass peyotes he sent me. Thank you. He lives on a res in New Mexico. Anyway, are we done? I think we're done. Unless anybody's got any nice questions. Who's pissing on homes infrastructure? No one's doing that, brother. People are talking about urinating outside. It wasn't an old pizza box. It was something else. But you could use an old pizza box, too. What about Trichoceres brigizii? What? Trichoceres brigizii what? Let's see. Oh, someone's throwing out the Terrence McKenna quotes. I like Terrence McKenna. Why'd you leave Oakland? Because it got too expensive and weird. And the wealth discrepancies just got too fucking depressing to be around. And it got really turned up. Oh God. And yeah, I mean, there's a whole list of reasons, man. There's a whole list of reasons. It just got so fucking weird. It was funny. And the people moving into my neighborhood, they had the signs, you know, which make you think that's great. We got a Black Lives Matter sign. It's great, you know, and then they turn out to be like the most obnoxious fucking just lecturing shitty Caucasians you've ever encountered. Or they got like in one of those "in this house we believe" sign. Like just fuck, oh God. And it really that was my first experience with the issue being class, not fucking political, whatever political, flag you're waving. Jesus Christ. Oh, it was depressing. Physalis is a crop to produce from Robin Ingram over there. Shout out to Robin in Des Moines. Physalis is great. Fully support. I don't know if she's from Des Moines. I'm just joking around. Physalis is fucking great. Really easy to grow. I was growing some in the illegal garden on 16th and Mandela before that real estate agent. I just won't let her. He just won't let her live it down. He just kept bringing it up. It was because she murked everything. I got a hold of some of her emails. You should have seen the shit she was writing. It was fucking hilarious. It's the fourth year that's gone by that Mr. Santor has planted his illegal plantings. She was really mad when I got it permitted. God, she was such a fucking, I know this word gets overused, but she was such a fucking Karen. Like 110%. Peace be to her. Hope she's a Merry Christmas, Happy New Year, all that shit. God, she was fucking mean though. Just obsessed. Holy fuck. The email she wrote was like 8 paragraphs long, and you could tell that the people at City Hall that were reading it were just like, God, this fucking lady won't stop. Like, why won't she stop? Please stop. No. I don't know Parnassia grandifolia. The suburbs of Chicago. Oh, I'm speaking at the Wild Things conference, which they were almost unsure about. They didn't know if they wanted to have me. Because I guess you get some whatever. Anyway, but the Wild Things conference in Beale, who gives a fuck about it? I don't care about any political shit, whatever. Speaking of the Wild Things conference in Chicago in late February, and then where am I going? Chile. I'm going to Ecuador. Al Rockefeller's. They're paying for me to go to Ecuador because they're doing some tour down there. They're having tours or something. I don't know what they're doing, They're starting a permaculture food forest. A permaculture food forest. I'm gonna fucking cancel Crime Pigs. I'm gonna stop doing all this stuff. We're just gonna focus on permaculture food forests and starting, growing lemon trees in the fucking park. Anyway, Jesus Christ, what's the coca plant conference in Peru? Not really, no. I'm curious about the genus of coca plant. What is it? Erythra, I forget. Curious about the ecology of it. Cocoa. Fuck, not Cocos nucifera. What is it? Coca. Oops. Erythroxylum. Yeah. How about adaptive radiation? Shout out to Tom Givnish, who's retiring after 50 years of research into plant biology, speciation. I should do a fucking podcast with Givnish again. See, my problem is I can't focus on one thing at once. I'm like doing 9 things all the time. Is Timothy still here, the guy that can help me with InDesign? Fuck. Theobroma. What pollinates Theobroma? Let's look at that. Anytime you meet a new plant, you got to ask what pollinates it. What did it evolve with? The specifists, not the generalists, are the really cool ones. What about those Ethiopian wolves pollinating Nyphophia? Oh, wait. When did Theobroma evolve? 9.9 million years ago. That's not why. What pollinates Theobroma? Biting flies called midges. Theobroma cacao is pollinated by biting flies. What the fuck? Did you know that? Oh my God. What pollinates plantations of Theobroma then? Who knew that? Who knew that biting midges pollinate the... Oh, thank you, Timothy. Hello. Who knew that biting flies pollinate Theobroma? Huh? Who knew that? Be honest. Fuck, that changes everything. Oh, you know what I'm supposed to do? I'm supposed to this colony or a company called Biogents. It sounds like a dating site for gay biologists, which I'm not opposed to at all. It's great, Biogents, but it's not. It's a fucking German company, and they make these mosquito traps, and it works. I swear to God, it's fucking amazing. Because where I live, well, first off, most of the mosquitoes in densely populated areas are non-native. Like tiger mosquitoes are really prevalent in South Texas. Where I live, it's still it's like 60 degrees now, but it'll be fucking 80 degrees in 2 days. And they sent me this trap. It's amazing. It's like a black tub. I think they're asking more money than it's worth, but probably for all the research that went into developing the bait for the trap. Anyway, this thing's amazing. I fucking caught. I need to do a video on it because it's actually pretty cool. Because I catch these fucking mosquitoes by the hundreds, and then I freeze them to kill them, and then the trap's still running, and then I put them in I feed them to all my carnivorous plants, pinguiculas. And get Gibberellic acid online. And I feed them to the pinguiculas, and they're fucking doing great. The drosoras are happy. Like I rarely keep carnivorous plants. But anyway, it's a really cool, I think it's like $300, which is a lot for the trap. But again, I think that's mostly because the bait is this stuff called sweet scent, which is a combination of lactic acid and urea, and it smells horrible. It smells like a 400-pound man, like you took his sweaty fucking XXL t-shirt. No offense to the fatties, I love you. But you took the XXL t-shirt after like an hour in the gym where he was just sweating to the oldies, getting it in and just dripping and sweating. You took that sweat and you just fucking squeezed it out into a sponge and then huff the sponge. That's what it smells like. It's urea, lactic acid, some other stuff, but it's a wonderful concoction. And these fucking mosquitoes are attracted to that. It depends what species. Different species are attracted to different things. But Aedes aegypti, which I believe is the tiger mosquito, is attracted purely to this sweet scent stuff. I got the CO2 tank as well, which is nice because you can use it, for your soda stream. You get one of those little adapters. Alan Rockefeller taught me that. But anyway, I ended up taking the CO2 off because I was like, I don't want to waste all this shit. I'm leaving town for a week. And I just left this thing on. It's basically a running fan that sucks these things in. They get attracted to that sweet scent stuff, the lactic acid, which is human sweat. And oh my God, it's amazing. And the glee that I feel, because the mosquitoes get really bad, the glee that I feel in freezing these things and then feeding them to the pinguiculas and the Drosera capensis that I have, I'm telling you, it's like just rivers of dopamine and serotonin flowing through my body as I watch these things just get used as a nitrogen source for a really cool plant. Biogens. Again, you know. Biogens. Someone should make that. Make like a gay dating site for biologists and botanists, you know. See what hunks you can round up over there, you know? Get it in. Got like a focus on, you know, who's ever done online dating? You know, you do online dating for you know, per your field of interest. That way you don't end up with some goof, you know, someone who's into like accounting or something. No offense. I got a cool accountant. She used to breed psychedelic mushrooms. She's my accountant now. She lives in California, but still. But so no offense to accountant, but you know what I mean? I'm just saying, if you get someone who, you know, you got to, because fields of interest are what really bond people together. You know, if you're going to be, you know, in a relationship with romance, living together at some point, you got to have the same stuff. You know, you can't have someone who's like into like theater or something, living with someone who's in the biology. I mean, I guess you could, but there might be problems. Anyway, I haven't been reading any of these. I just went on a rant. I'm sorry. Sorry, everybody. Let me go back in some of these. Dead soil rental last year. I put on sawdust manure and topped it with compost. That's fucking good. Yeah. You know what I was doing yesterday? Oh my God. We've had this problem with growing madrones, right? Because they need mycorrhizae because it protects them from pathogens. So what did I do in the Davis Mountains? Again, I should have my mustache and the Trump hat so I didn't get bothered. You glue on mustache. What if one of these, and I say this lovingly, what if like a redneck guy walked up to you, like one of these, you know, in Texas, and they were paranoid that you were, you know, trespassing on their land. They're all paranoid. But like you had a mustache and a Trump hat. Would that soften them at all? Even if like me, I still had neck tattoos, but I had a Trump hat and a glue-on mustache. Maybe he'd see the glue-on mustache and get offended. Even though I think I was making fun of him. I wasn't. I'm just trying to blend in. I'd have to grow a real mustache, but I've never done that. It's so hard. It's so hard to look at myself in the mirror. It is sometimes right now, but as is. But anyway, so I was up in these mountains. I think I should have taken the elevation, 7,000 feet with Adam Black, that wonderful man. And there was madrones fucking everywhere. There were madrone trees, Arbutus halepensis, the Texas madrone. And it occurred to me, the soil was so rich. It was such a rich duff. Tons of cool oaks up there. Quercus hypoleucoides. We found a couple Quercus rugosa, which is probably my favorite species of oak. It's mostly Mexican. I planted a few of those in Oakland illegally. And the duff was just so fucking alive and rich. And so I got a bag and was just scooping up handfuls of this stuff from the base of the madrone tree, tons of mycelium and everything, tons of hyphal strands. And so I brought it back and inoculated a couple trees I have in the ground. Well, I don't know if it inoculated, if it took, but I hope it did. And put some mulch on top of it and stuff. And cultivating fungus from a mycorrhizal perspective has got to feel so fulfilling. You never know if it's bullshit or not. You know, some of these products and stuff they sell out here. Look what I got over here. I bought mycorrhizae, just trying it for shits and giggles, and then you make a mixture, and I got one of these things for injecting meat. It's like a giant syringe. See this? I bought this on Scamazon. Fuck. Look at that. Oh my God. And so this is for, you mix this slurry, you suck it up in here, and then you inject the soil. It's for inoculating seedlings, you know, because I'm growing a bunch of Pinus remota too. Pinus remota is another plant that is actually very widespread. It's all over the place. Someone told me about a spot where there's Pinus remota growing within eyeshot of peyote yesterday. It's on private land. Like so much land in Texas is owned by a rich freak who won't let people on to look at it and won't let people on to study it or do research. But Pinus remota, a pinyon pine growing with peyote. Sympatrically together. I don't know if it's like growing right on time. That Pinus remota is fucking amazing, man. The video that's coming out later today, there's a spot where it's growing, and it's a limestone endemic too, where it's growing with Ocotillo. Ocotillo and a fucking pine growing together. It's wild. Also, you know what? I seen that my friend Gabrielle and Jeremy, they're in fucking Oaxaca looking at Fucaria purpussii, which is flowering. God, it was made me feel so bad. I love them both, but that was a FOMO that hurt, you know, and I'm still recovering from that. Let me see if I can find some. Fucaria purpussii produces white flowers, so it probably is moth pollinated. And then what drives me nuts too is like who's done studies on what species of moths pollinate Fucaria purpussii. If you don't know what Fucaria purpussii is, holy fuck, look at this. Let me go to their page. Gabriel's not even responding to me. You know, I don't know if he's busy. He's too busy having a good time to respond to his friend Joe. You know, that's what he said. He can't. He says, I don't got time for this guy. Where'd it go? Oh my God, look at these fucking agaves they're seeing too. What is that, Odoroi? Fuck. Look at the cactus forest down there. Look at that. Oh God. Wait, where's the Fucaria porn? God damn it, fuck. Where'd it go? Oh my God. Fucaria is the genus of Ocotillo, if anyone's wondering what the fuck I'm talking about. And Ocotillo, the one we get, you know, that's just one species. There's like 10 other species in the genus that, and this one in Oaxaca is one of the wildest ones. Those are the flowers of Fucaria purpussii. Oh, Jesus. Such a cool species. And they get this bottle shape to them. It looks like a green bottle. Just amazing. Look at these dry deciduous woodlands. Hidden agave on the Intergram. Oh God, look at that. I want to go down there just so I could get some photos for drawing, for artwork, you know? Oh, I got prints available if anybody wants. If you want to buy a print, I should do that. Hold on, let me show you. Let me show this stuff. Where'd I put it? Oh, maybe I don't got it. No, you know what? I'll take it with me. Hold on. I got prints of this. Okay, got it. Okay. I got prints of this. It's a limestone exposure. It's a big fucking drawing. It's like 36 by 24. You know, we'll work something out. We could do a cheap print. You want $30? The tube, honestly, mailing shit in the tube is the biggest pain in the ass. You know? How about print for 50? And then I got this too. You get any size you want. You tell me which size you want. I'll get the printer to print a decent size. We could go smaller. We could do 16 by 20. I'll sell some of those. Oh, here's a nice drawing I did. Real quickie. West Texas Dust Devil. You want one of those Joshua Tree prints? They're on the art Instagram page too. You want one of those Joshua Tree prints or that limestone syncline? What the fuck is wrong with my camera? That limestone syncline. You could email me, crimepageabotany@gmail. We'll make it work. Oh, what is it going? Did that just come through or no? Yeah, okay. Yeah, I just draw them on butcher paper. It's nice. It's really flimsy paper, but it's great for just getting it done. Anyway, all right. Well, let's wrap this up. Excuse me. Let's wrap this up. And does anybody have any last question? You can download that poster behind me and have a print shop print it for you. plantgateway.com/poster. That's going in my book. I got permission to put that in my book. The nice people over at where was it? I don't know who it was. Who did I talk to? Some nice man. I forget. He emailed me. What was the Growing with Fishes podcast? I remember I did that. I don't remember half the fucking interviews I've done. Ray Jacksonia Phylocephalo from seed. It's easy. It's like a fucking native weed, man. Really easy. Just sow seed and preferably in like a barren spot and water it in so it doesn't move. And then You ever think about teaching a field identification class in person? Yeah, sure. Where? Oh Jesus, endangered species getting torn down. I don't, man. Good luck. You in Texas, probably. Would you say a house plant collection is an asset or a liability? If it rewards you with psychological joy, I mean, or spiritual joy, great. But then what happens when you need to leave town? It dies. And also if you're growing house plants, a lot of plants really don't like growing indoors. There's not enough light, even in a really bright room. It's still, measure it with like a lux meter on your fucking phone. You can download like the what is it, GPS app. It's got a lux meter in it. GPS status app. It's got a lux meter in it, right? And you could see, like, look, brightness. Look, it seems pretty bright in here. It's only 65 lux. Outside is like 50,000. So if you're growing stuff inside, you're already limited. There's no airflow. Fungi are going to thrive. It can also be very dry in the winter, especially if you're in a cold climate, because cold air outside doesn't have that much air in it to begin with. You bring it in, you heat it up. Now it's got potential to hold a lot more moisture, but there's not a lot of moisture, ambient humidity in the general region to begin with because it's winter. So it's going to fucking suck out moisture like a dry sponge from any plant. So it's really hard. So if you're growing plants inside, try to increase humidity. If you can, get a humidity dome, get a clear plastic bin. My friend Martin Grantham got fucking clear shower curtains on like a stainless steel shelf and just put trays, like those like the trays you use for kennels beneath them, so that when he watered, it would drip into the tray. Damn near ruined his dining room almost, but you just want to increase the humidity. All right. So it's generally just easier to grow things outside, or get LED lights from Spider Farmer. Best company for LEDs, Spider Farmer by far. You got to up that humidity. The more humidity they have, the more they can keep their stomata open, the easier they're going to do. Butano Cypress Grove update. I'd love to make it back there at some point. Yeah. Is it fucking 118 or? Oh my God. Jesus Christ. I got to go fucking bright. Yeah, I need to make it back there at some point. California's just, I love it, but I'm like, I got too much residual PTSD. I think that's what it is. There's just associations to some of these places. Oh God, I hope they get enough rain. Yeah, man, do it, Ethan. Just for shits and giggles. Just see if you could fit in. Winnetka, son, I've been banned from Winnetka. Why you want to go to Winnetka? You got to get out of there. If you're growing up there, you got to fucking get out of there soon, man. Just, come up with a plan to get the fuck out of Winnetka. What are you going to do? Where are you going to move to? Anywhere is good. Just, you got to go eat some shit for a while. You know what I mean? You got to get some scars. Got to get some calloused hands. Eat some shit. Get out of Winnetka. Some cool stuff up there, though. When there's little bits of habitat left, I mean. Did you see that there was that Learn Your Land guy put out a video on ticks and fire, and it's fucking great. You got to bring back fire to the Northeast woodlands, right? That removes ticks. That removes the leaf litter that ticks need to thrive in, and it's just good. For thousands of years, indigenous people burned a lot of these woodlands, and now a lot of these woodlands look like shit, and they're invaded with invasive species. Go watch the fucking invasive and native thing I put on the Patreon. I was thinking about releasing it to the public and making it free because I don't believe in paywalls, but I got to make some fucking, I got to make some money. I'll release it to the public. I'll put it out public if you could like buy some fucking stickers off me or something, or buy a print, because I'm telling you, I got stuff I got to do. I got a 4-year-old. I got a 4-year-old and I just taught her how to drive. Her gas card is through the roof, and I got to pay this stuff. I said, Learn Your Land, and it's fucking the one he just put out on ticks. That guy seems like a nice guy. He seems really nice. Flower pillows. Oh, my Martha Stewart over there. What am I going to do with flower pillows? So you want me to like sew them? What do you want? You want me to embroider them? I'll embroider them. I'll do embroidery. I'll do some versions of Live, Laugh, Love flower pillows with the embroidery and shit. There's a bunch of, I would fucking love to do embroidery. Little stitches, I'd take it somewhere dark and cynical. right? But I'd make it look nice, and it'd be. I would love to fucking. I don't have enough time. I don't have fucking time to do anything. I don't have enough time to do, this book. I don't have enough time or focus to do a lot of stuff. Okay, we gonna go or what? What, are people fighting with each other in the comments? With Devin Blight and Captain Jay, what are they fighting about? Live, laugh, love, depose. I didn't want to bring it up, but I was thinking that. Wow. More CEOs. Oh God, I just said it. Fuck. Anyway. Yeah, that would be a good idea. Yeah, swollen ovaries pillow. That would be nice. That would be nice. And then it's a good conversation starter for talking, for getting people talking about how all fruits are ovaries, plant reproduction, pollination, phenotypic variation, etc. Go Megadeth. Wait, what? Sweating bullets? Looking for advice, start my own hemp farm next to my homeless camp under the 405. It's the most California shit I've ever heard. I'm looking for advice, starting my own hemp farm next to my homeless camp under the 405. The only resistance you might encounter is from fellow houseless, not homeless, because you don't see that anymore. Because if you just say it in a different way, it's going to change the status of the people living there. From your fellow houseless. This is my white California liberal talk too. This isn't like a gay. Someone thought I was making fun of gay people when I talk like that. I'm not fucking making. It's like the day before. I'm not fucking making fun of gay people. It's just I'm making fun of the California Anglo liberal thing. But anyway, I forget what I was fucking talking about. Anyway, that some of your houseless citizens, fellow houseless citizens, might be the biggest threat to your hemp farm. Are you going to start a food forest? Adam Black was going to start a food forest. It's okay to make fun of gay people, yeah, but not for being gay. You don't. Jesus Christ, where the fuck were you guys going with this? You fucking weirdos, man. It's not a gay accent. It's a white progressive accent. Anyway. I got a lisp sometimes, not just Alan. But yeah, or it's a Cali girl accent, But the fuck, people just want to be offended sometimes. What are you doing? Relax. Do you fucking relax? How did the left used to be the fucking in the 90s? Like all the comedians were left. The left was like the fucking non-stiffs, and it was always like the right that was like the. Now it's reversed. It's got really weird, at least in America. It got so weird. Anyway, let's see what you can. Yeah, who cares? I'm not fucking talking about this. What the fuck? I got roux wormwood and made absinthe. That's cool. All right. Thing is a psyop at this point. Exactly. It's not focused on the oligarchs fucking all of you. But what was a cool plant that I was actually going to put in? I am going to put in this book if it ever comes out, which I need to just bootleg, do it myself. Is Eurmoxanthocephalus. That's a great fucking plant. Really cool, and really range restricted. Grows in a very narrow area on volcanic soils at like 6,000 foot elevation in Wyoming. And not enough people know about it. And it's one of those plants that when you look at it, you could see like this is related to like Arnoglossum and all these other cool senesioid things that grow, 1,000 miles further east in a more chill and music environment. And how did this thing evolve? It's like this big, it's like 6 inches tall, growing on these barren soils with a bunch of other cool shit. The stressful soils always have the coolest stuff. Holy fuck. I just put, did I do a serpentine video lecture? I think I did. It's up on the Patreon. The stressful stories always have the coolest stuff. On that serpentine video lecture, there's New Caledonia stuff too. So, anyway, Sucking wrong is either a process failure or a bad client. I don't. Is that a miss? Did you mean sucking dong? Is that a? Is it the autocorrect? Have you been to Venezuela? No, I'd love to go, but I'd probably be in prison because of their beef with the government of the country I live in. Yeah, I'm sure they'll sign me up for a book tour. The publisher, and it's Abrams, has really, yeah, I'm going to Ecuador with Alan. Yeah, he's paying for it, so I'm fucking, I can't turn that down. Abrams Press really dropped the ball. It sucks. And the person I'm working with over there, it's not her fault. She's new. They're not paying her enough. She just got hired. I sent them my manuscript a year ago, almost a year. Well, not a year ago. It was fucking May. It was 8 months, but they still haven't read it. I've sent them thousands of photos. They haven't sorted through any of them. Yeah, it sucks. So I don't know what to do. And I'm working on another book. I don't have time. Another book that I already took in advance for. I don't have time to fuck around with their lack of ability to. They have all the material already. They could do all this shit. And they just, man, they haven't done it, So, the ball's in their court. That's what I'm saying. Can you visit more tropical environments and do shows on epiphytes? Absolutely. Yeah. Can you self-publish? I'll probably do that a little bit. Yeah. But some of it, God, who is fucking talking? Some of you guys have filthy fucking, let's keep it like PG-13. Well, we can't, you know what I mean. How much do you read in your day-to-day, and what do you read? Papers online, and not the whole thing, bits of it. And I take a lot of notes, and I fucking, I got like a notepad app, and I use Google Docs as well. How and where to get the print? Email me, crimepayswhatbotanydoesn't@gmail. And how often you visit the RGV? I'll be down there next week. Can you visit more barren environments? Always. Yeah, email me, crimepayswhatbotanydoesn't@gmail.com and order some prints. 2 for $50. All right. And for an extra 10, I'll throw in some stickers. Believe that GAD left certain drugs growing naturally upon our planet to help speed up. Oh, yeah, Bill Hicks. That's a Bill Hicks quote. Okay. Salasby Eleni in Sacramento. Cool. That's cool. I don't see any trolls. They're just, they're just people just having fun, being lewd. Yes, the Placus moavensis in the background. If you found Salasby Eleni grown in Sacramento, that's cool. Hopefully people are spreading it throughout wood chips in tacky landscaping all throughout California, through coastal California. That whole, it's thought Eleni and cyanescens and all those are basically Salasby subruginosa, which is from Australia. And so they're all authentically invasive, but only really within landscaping beds in California. So anyway, plants and fungi, I have no interest in stuff you can eat. No offense. It's just like the least interesting thing on my palate. But I'll show you some other interesting shit that might be worth your time. Okay, should we wrap this up? It's been fucking an hour and 40 minutes now. I got to get out of here. You know why I did this? Because I didn't want to work on my book. Because I was trying to procrastinate. This is some fucking ADD shit. It's ridiculous. Prints of botanical photos. Yeah, that'd be nice. How would I do that? How would I order mass? How would I make it affordable? Like order mass prints of photos. If someone knows how to do that or has a photo printer that they could recommend or does photo printing and would be happy to work something out. Yeah, 2 prints for $50. The ones I just showed though. That Joshua tree and the Mojave drawing and that limestone syncline anticline. Mass prints on Shutterfly. Yeah. I'd rather support someone who was like, independent, had an independent operation, could print 18 by 24 inch photos. Like order 25 or something, and then I don't know. Anyway, all right. Well, let's wrap it up. Everybody, email me if you wish to order some prints, and look for the book in damn near a year and a half or whenever it comes out. And fucking, I don't know. I'm like so I'm so just to get to do it myself on InDesign. It sucks, but you know, they've already paid the advance, so it's their money, whatever. All right, okay, everybody else, have a good day. Have a good rest of your day, and go fuck yourself. Bye.